Denver Broncos returned to the practice field on Thursday. But instead of clarity, the day delivered a deepening sense of uncertainty that seemed to stretch over every drill, every conversation, and every silent glance exchanged between coaches and players. The afternoon air felt heavy, as if the entire facility understood that something important was shifting long before the final whistle. Blue two names hovered over the session like unspoken warnings: tight end Nate Adkins and defensive lineman DJ Jones remained completely absent from the field, a continuation of a troubling pattern that grows more unsettling with each passing hour. Their absence was more than a detail on an injury report. It was the beginning of a story that no one inside the building wanted to see unfold this late in the season. For Nate Adkins, the situation has become a prolonged battle with time, patience, and the unforgiving demands of professional football. He has already missed for consecutive games, and each missed practice adds another layer of doubt about when or even if he will return. Before his injury, Adkins had carved out a meaningful place within the Broncos' offense, a steady presence capable of blocking, catching, and giving the unique versatility in critical situations. Now the team stares down the possibility of entering Sunday with only the healthy tight ends Evan Engram and Adam Troutman, a razor-thin margin in a matchup that promises physicality, unpredictability, and high stakes. The coaching staff understands the strain this places on the game plan. Every formation becomes a puzzle, every adjustment becomes a test of resourcefulness, and every snap could carry implications that ripple far beyond a single drive. But if the uncertainty surrounding Adkins feels troublesome, the situation involving DJ Jones carries a weight that borders on ominous. Jones suffered his ankle injury during the intense back and forth battle against the Washington Commanders, a one-point victory defined by grit, desperation, and narrow escapes. Watching Jones leave that field told one story, but the silence since then has told another. The Broncos rely on Jones not only for his physical presence, but for the emotional tone he brings to the defensive line. Without him, the front loses a stabilizing force, a disruptor, and anchor. If he cannot take the field on Sunday, the responsibility will fall to Malcolm Roach, who would step into a role demanding strength, endurance, and composure under pressure. Behind him, a combination of Iomi Uwazuri, Jordan Jackson, and rookie Sivian Jones stands ready to rotate, in all of them preparing to shoulder workloads that were not scheduled to arrive this soon. The stakes are immense. Every assignment, every gap responsibility, every collision in the trenches could shift the balance of the entire matchup. While major concerns dominate the conversation, the Broncos did receive a small flicker of hope from another corner of the roster. Outside linebacker Jonah Ellis returned to practice after missing the games with a hamstring injury. His presence does not erase the broader uncertainties, but it introduces the possibility that the defense might recover at least one important contributor. Ellis brings energy, range, and playmaking potential, and the team is eager to see whether his recovery continues without setbacks. Yet even his return comes wrapped in caution. The Broncos cannot afford another unexpected twist, and every step he takes will be analyzed for signs of strain, hesitation, or discomfort. As Thursday unfolded, the atmosphere felt charged with a quiet intensity that rarely accompanies routine midweek practice sessions. These were not ordinary updates on player conditions. They were signals of how fragile the path ahead might be. The coaching staff knows that late-season football is often determined not just by talent or strategy, but by the unpredictable dance between health and timing. A single injury can redefine an entire month. A single absence can reshape the structure of both offense and defense. The unresolved status of Adkins and Jones created a kind of suspense that extended through the locker room and into every film session, every conversation, and every strategic discussion behind closed doors. The full Thursday injury report is expected later in the day, and there is a sense that whatever information it contains will either steady the nerves of Broncos followers or ignite a new level of concern. As the team prepares for another practice on Friday, the tension only grows. Friday offers the final chance for injured players to demonstrate readiness, but it also carries the possibility of last-minute setbacks, small details that can completely alter the trajectory of a game plan. Coaches will study every movement, players will test their limits, and trainers will monitor signs that could determine whether someone spends Sunday on the field or on the sideline. And then comes Sunday, a regional broadcast on CBS, a late afternoon kickoff, and a game that suddenly feels far larger than the standings suggest. The Broncos and Raiders carry a rivalry steeped in emotion and history, and this meeting arrives at a moment when both teams fight for momentum, position, and identity. For Denver, the questions surrounding the Injury report hover like storm clouds over everything: the strategy, the rotations, the matchups, and the confidence of the roster. Every decision made in the hours leading up to kickoff will reflect the consequences of the uncertainty that has shadowed this week. The impact of missing players could be felt on the first snap, or perhaps on a pivotal third down deep in the fourth quarter, moments where the absence of a single man alters the rhythm of an entire drive. As the final injury report approaches, there is a sense that the story is far from complete. There may be twists, still hidden details waiting to surface, developments that could reshape expectations at the last possible moment. That is why following the updates to the very it matters, because in the NFL, the narrative can shift in a heartbeat, and the most important revelations often arrive when no one expects them. The Broncos stand at the edge of an uncertain weekend, and the only certainty is that every unanswered question still has the power to change everything.